return of fall means the return of my favorite season, soup season. Soups are wonderful because they're versatile, they're healthful, and they're one of the best meals to eat on a cool fall day. Today we're going to be doing potato and sweet corn chowder and a delicious quintessential fall dessert, apple crisp. Stick around for all those recipes when we get back. Hi, I'm Laura Will. I'm a wife, a mom, a blogger, and a busy bakery owner. I'm also a self-taught home cook, baker, and cake decorator all wrapped into one. My food style is easy and delicious. With the combination of whole foods and my quick tips and tricks, you too can cook the scratch-made simple way. Alright, so what I'm going to start with first is a whole package of bacon. Now we're going to be starting that as the base flavor of this potato and corn chowder. You're not going to be putting all of this bacon in your soup, but you're going to fry it up, we're going to remove it, and that'll be a topper. So I'm always talking about this on the show, is building flavors is a good way to make your dish really vibrant, packed full of flavor. And a lot of times with chowders, if you're not starting it with you know, lots of different flavors, you can you're putting a lot of milk and things in this. So you don't just want a big old, you know, pot of warm through milk with some vegetables thrown in. You want to do some, you know, onions, bacon. We're going to be doing leeks. That's kind of got almost like an oniony flavor. But we're going to dice this because this is going to be topping our delicious chowder. We're going to put it in bread bowls as well. So I like to top my chowders with bacon. This is also great for like a loaded baked potato soup. It's going to be kind of similar to that, but a little bit different. All right, so once all my bacon is diced, I'm gonna just put this in a nice hot pan, sprinkle it through, like that. Hear that sizzle? I love that sound. Bacon is so tasty. All right, so I'm gonna get a spoon, stir this around a little bit, and this is gonna be the base flavor for our soup. We're gonna be frying our leeks and our onions and our potatoes. All right, and then next what we're gonna start with is a leek. You can get this at any grocery store. What I did was this was together. You're gonna chop the big green top off and you're gonna chop the little white bottom off. You're kind of using just the middle of this, almost like you would a little yellow, or not a yellow, a scallion, a little green scallion onion. And now leeks have sand in them that can be very dirty. So what you wanna do is fan through your leek under running water to clean that out because you don't want any dirt going through your leek. So while I have my bacon cooking, I'm just gonna chop these down the middle and we'll dice these up a while. Just do a nice little rough chop, doesn't have to be super, you know, finely diced or anything. These will cook down along with our onion. Oh, you can smell it. Leek smells so yummy. It's almost kind of like a green onion, but not quite. All right. We've got that, just about finished. All right, we'll push this aside. And then we're gonna do a small yellow onion to go along with that. Peel it off. And you're gonna kind of just dice this the exact same way. Chop it down the middle, dice it up, quick rough chop, good enough. Now that we have these onions finished, diced and good to go, I'm gonna stir this bacon up. We're gonna go on a quick break. I'm gonna let this bacon finish frying up in my pot here, and when we get back, we will take this out with a slotted spoon and we'll have our reserved bacon fat to start cooking all of our delicious veggies in. All right, welcome back, guys. The whole kitchen smells like bacon. It smells so good. All we are doing right now is we diced up a whole package of bacon and we're basically just frying that up in this nice big pot, and I'm taking a slotted spoon and I'm going to get all of these little bacon bits out now and just put them on a paper towel. We're going to leave these to the side to cool because this is going to be topping our potato and sweet corn chowder. And also it will flavor our whole pot of soup and be super tasty. So I'm just gonna get these last little bits out, and then you're gonna reserve all this bacon fat. Do not get rid of it. You can get a little bit out. You don't need like too much, but you need at least enough that you can cook your vegetables in it. So I'm gonna put this in the sink real quick. And what I have here is my diced up leeks. I'm gonna throw these in. Ooh, hear that? Tasty. And then we're gonna put some onions in too. And then you're gonna wanna salt and put some fresh cracked black pepper on top of your leek and onion mixture. We're just gonna stir that in. So that's gonna be cooking down. You don't need this to be on super high heat. I'm actually gonna put it on about low to medium, just so I'm kind of sweating these. I don't want them to brown too much. And sometimes when you're cooking in some bacon fat, it can kind of make your things brown pretty quickly. So I'm gonna turn this down very low. And then while I'm doing that, let me get my bacon out of the way real quick here. I'm gonna peel some carrots because we're gonna be putting these in as well. I've got 5 long carrots that I'm peeling. Just your regular sized carrots. I like to get a little bit thicker ones. And peel these guys, and we're gonna dice these too and put these in with our potato and onion mixture. Okay, so I'm just gonna finish dicing up these carrots. And we're gonna put all these in the pot along with our leek and onion mixture. And we're just gonna stir these in as well. Mix them all together. And then next, I'm going to dice up about 6 or 7 potatoes. If you have russet potatoes and they're very big, you can probably get away with just doing about 4 of those. But I have little smaller golden potatoes. They're about this size, so I'm just gonna chop these guys up. Now, if you prefer to do like a traditional potato soup where you're peeling these, that's what most people do, you can. I just like to leave the skins on personally. I don't really feel the need to peel them off. I kind of like to leave it. So I just dice mine up in little cubes with the skin on. I love soup in the fall and winter. It's so nice to have something kind of just boiling on the stove or on a low simmer actually all day. The longer you let it sit, the tastier it gets. That's the beauty of soup. Kind of put some grilled cheese with it, or maybe some bread, butter bread. Today we're gonna be putting these in little bread bowls, so that's really fun. I love to toast some of the extra bread beside it and kind of use it to dip in. That's my favorite fall meal go-to, something kind of hearty like that that will feed my family well. All right, and then we're just gonna throw all of our potatoes in the pot along with our carrots. And I'm just gonna stir all of this together. And you're gonna wanna cook all of these until they, maybe about 5 minutes or so till they start to soften a bit, because you will be letting this simmer for a little, and it will also help soften your vegetables. We'll put in a little bit of paprika. Not a ton, just little sprinkles, good. And then I'll put a little bit of garlic in as well. You don't need a ton of this either, no more than about a tablespoon. Put that in, stir that together. Oh yeah. I wish you could smell it. It smells amazing. Delicious. Okay, so then you're going to put in about 2 tablespoons of flour. You're doing this because it's going to be almost like a little roux. This is going to be a thickener for your soup. But we put this in along with the vegetables to cook the flour taste out, because you don't want to just have a floury kind of tasting soup. So it's going to absorb all of these tasty flavors. And you're going to want to keep stirring this so you can kind of cook it through. This looks pretty good. And then what you're going to do then is pour in 2 cups, I almost said tablespoons, 2 cups of chicken stock. I'm gonna go right in like that. Okay, and now it's gonna take a little while for that flour mixture to start thickening this soup up, but you're gonna stir this in and let this start warming through. And then along with that, you're going to add another 2 cups of whole milk. Stir this all together. And then what you want to do is you want to get this up to a boil, and then you want to let it simmer for a while, because the longer it simmers, the longer it will thicken. So that's basically what you want it to do. That's why we put that flour in. And if you don't put enough flour in, you're actually probably going to need more than about 2 tablespoons, maybe more like a 1/4 cup. You can add some more in. It's just a little harder to add your flour in after so it doesn't clump. So you want to be putting that flour in when you're cooking down your vegetables. All right, so next I like to add shrimp into my potato and sweet corn chowder. So I took a pound of deveined and detailed shrimp and I thawed these out so you can get fresh or delicious. You can just put them in here and they'll cook right in your soup. And I'm just gonna throw these guys right in the pot. All right, we'll just stir our shrimp right in. And then, sweet corn. Now, this is tasty. You can do this in the summer too, whenever sweet corn is totally fresh and tasty. If you are saving it in your freezer, that's always a great thing to do. A lot of people will save fresh sweet corn in bags in the freezer. You could pull that out and put it right in this soup. But if it's, you know, out of season, you can just get a nice frozen bag of fresh sweet corn. I like to always get nice organic vegetables from my local markets, and I'm just gonna stir this in next. And this is really coming together. It's got so many different flavors and elements and nice veggies. I love the shrimp in this. It smells delicious. It smells so good in the kitchen. That is the beauty of cooking from scratch and cooking at home to your family. It's just such a nice sense of home. They smell it on the stove. The whole aroma fills your house, and it's just homey and warm, and nothing better than gathering around the table with your family. All right, so we're gonna let this keep just simmering on the stove. That's what you wanted to do, because the longer it simmers, it's gonna keep thickening for you. And then this is a good time to taste your soup, because I've salted and peppered it. I always kind of do it in stages with my cooking, but you've got a whole big pot of different things in here. So you're gonna wanna taste this, because you wanna make sure, just blow on it and make sure it's cool. It's creamy. You can already taste the sweet corn in it. All right, and then I'm just gonna chop up some fresh parsley to put in our pot of soup. You can do like 1 to 2 tablespoons, that's fine. Just a rough chop is nice. And I'm gonna put this right in my soup, right on top. We'll just stir our parsley in, and this is your very last step, is you're gonna put a little bit of heavy cream into your soup to give it a little bit of richness and to help thicken it up as well. So I'm gonna open this up, pour a little bit in. At the very most, you'll be putting maybe like 1/4 cup to 1/2 cup, not a ton. And then stir it in. And that is gonna make it so creamy and good. All right, so that's it. That's our sweet corn and potato chowder. You're gonna leave this on low, and you're gonna let it simmer and thicken and set. Just a nice low setting, and it should be fine. You don't want to have it high, because you don't want to be scalding your cream or letting it kind of boil over or anything. Nice low simmer is perfect. We're going to go on a quick break, and when we get back, I will be starting apple crisp. Peeled and have chopped all of our apples. I did about 5, 6, 7, somewhere in between there. I did 6. If you have bigger apples, you can kind of maybe stick to 5. If you have small apples, you can do about 7. But this is gonna be the base of your apple crisp. I used gala apples because I personally like gala apples. I think they're sweet and they're kind of tart. But if you like something really tart, like a Granny Smith apple or something like that, you can totally use that. So next, you are going to put in 3 tablespoons of flour. Just sprinkle that right over your apples. All right. And then we're gonna put in a 1/2 cup of brown sugar. So I know there's some box mix kind of apple crisp things at the store. Don't bother with those. This is fresh, it's really easy. It's just as easy as doing that. You're just dumping a couple ingredients and it's really, really good. So don't try this. I promise you'll love it. All right, and then it's gonna be 2 tablespoons of pure maple syrup. If you don't have maple syrup on hand, you can use regular syrup. I don't recommend it because this is very tasty, but you can do it. If that's what you have in a pinch, go ahead and use it. No big deal. All right, and you can smell it. I love maple syrup. It's really, really tasty, and it makes me think of fall, definitely. Anything maple flavored is like totally autumn. All right, and then now that we have that, we're actually going to cut a lemon, and you're gonna do the juice of 1 lemon. It basically equals out to about a tablespoon, but if you have any seeds, you wanna kind of pull these. And I like to hold my hand over the dish with my lemon, so I'm not getting any seeds, and you can still kind of just let the lemon juice go through there, like that. And this is gonna help your apples from browning and getting kind of, you know, yucky how they can if they're sitting out in the air. And it also puts a nice bright note in your apple crisp. Very tasty. All right, I think that's enough lemon juice. Looks pretty good to me. And then what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna put in a 1/4 cup of chopped nuts. I prefer pecans. I think they're very tasty in this dish. They have a warm, buttery flavor, and that's what I like the most. I have even actually used peanuts before when I've been out of other nuts. You can use walnuts, you can use pecans. Anything that you prefer is totally fine, but this is what I like and recommend the most for this dish. So you're gonna dump these out. And you're also gonna be putting these in the topping. So you need a 1/4 cup for the filling and you need a 1/4 cup for the top, so you can kind of do a nice little pile like this. And then you just want to get these all nice and chopped into a rough chop. They can be kind of chunky. I like them on the chunkier side. You don't want them to be too finely diced. And then I'm going to take just about half of these. This might be closer to a 1/4 cup or a 1/2 cup. If you half to a quarter to a half. You know, I like nuts, so I like to put a good amount in. So I'm going to reserve the other half of this because that's going to be going in our topping. So now this is the filling of our apple crisp. We're going to stir this all together. So you're gonna have that flour and brown sugar and the syrup and lemon juice. It's all gonna blend together and be super tasty. This is my favorite apple crisp recipe. I've been making this for my family for years. And I actually just had a pumpkin carving party at my sister's house. I took my boys and we had a nice big party with all the cousins and we carved pumpkins and it was really fun. And my sister made a nice big pot of chili. I took some biscuits over, some cheddar chive biscuits, and I made a nice big pie dish of this apple crisp, and it was gone. We all ate every single bit of it. Your family will love it. So easy to make this. You just put some diced apples together and stir a couple few ingredients, and then this topping is so good, buttery and crispy and yummy. It's only a few ingredients, so it's really easy. So I hope you try that this autumn season. You could even do this as a dessert if you're taking dessert for Thanksgiving or Christmas later on in the year for the holidays. It's very easy. All right, so we're gonna set this aside. I'm gonna switch out my bowls, put that right over there, and then we're gonna start on our topping next. So what you're gonna wanna start with is 3/4 of a cup of flour. So I'm gonna grab this and measure it out. All righty. Now, and a lot of times in baking you need to be super precise and making it level like this. For this, it's not like a huge deal because it's just a topping, but always keep that as a baking tip when you're doing that. Make sure your measurements are nice and even like that because that will make a big difference. Okay, so there we go with that. And then you're gonna do another 1/3 cup of brown sugar. Grab this. Brown sugar really adds to this dish. And then you can add 1/4 to a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. I prefer Saigon cinnamon. It's very, it's got this nice spicy flavor to it, a little unlike traditional cinnamon. So it's kind of my favorite to use. So if you've never tried Saigon cinnamon, I recommend you try it. I think you would like it a lot. All right, and then to balance all the flavors out, we're gonna do a 1/4 teaspoon of salt because you got a lot of sugar going on, so you're gonna kind of need that to balance it out. Then you're gonna put the rest of these nuts in here. All right, and then we're gonna get 6 tablespoons of chilled butter. Actually, mine's a little bit soft because it's been sitting out, but it's okay. As long as it's, you want it to be chilled because you don't want it to be mushy. All righty, so we're just gonna dice this up in little cubes. Put this in our topping. And I like to just work it with my hands. You can kind of stir it together with a fork. I find it's easier for me to use my hands in the kitchen for a lot of things, so I just go right in here like this. So you're just gonna be working your flour and your butter together. This is what you would be calling it, cutting it together. You could do it with a fork and a butter knife. You could do it with just a fork, kind of mashing it together. But what you're doing is you're working this chilled butter into these nuts and the flour and the cinnamon and the sugar and everything, and you want it to start kind of forming little pea-sized lumps. And once they're doing that, you know it's pretty much worked together throughout this butter, so it's gonna make this nice, delicious topping on your apple crisp. You can smell the cinnamon in the air, and this smells even better than the soup whenever it is in the oven. It's amazing. It's very aromatic. It fills the whole kitchen. and it tastes even better than it smells, I promise. All right, so whenever it starts forming like this, that's exactly how you want it to be, little lumps. That's the perfect apple crisp topping. So you're gonna grab your pie dish, and you're gonna get your nice, tasty apple mixture, pour it in here, and it's already gonna start forming a juice with that maple syrup and the lemon juice. It smells amazing. I don't know if you can tell, but I really love this dessert. I love sugar in general. Dessert's like my favorite. I really love baking. I love doing those types of things. So anytime I'm doing desserts, I'm pretty happy because I love this type of dessert, and I love apples too. All right, so you're gonna kind of stir that around, get your nuts through there. There's your filling. And then, move this out of the way real quick. We're gonna sprinkle our topping all over this. So you're gonna go through and evenly just kind of sprinkle it right on top. All right, and then you just put it on like that. It smells good even before it's going in. And then you're gonna pop this in a preheated oven, 350. You're gonna put it in for about 35, 40 minutes. Try to be patient. That can seem kind of long, but I promise it's worth the wait. And I'm gonna do that. We're gonna let that bake in the oven, and when we come back, I'm gonna plate our bread bowls and chowder and pull out the apple crisp. It's gonna be amazing. Stick around. Welcome back, guys. The soup is all done. The apple crisp is just gonna be coming out of the oven. Hey, Parker, you wanna come taste? My son Parker just got off school. Perfect timing, so hop up. So how comes your hair looks like that? What was it at school?
Crazy hair day.
Crazy hair day. Look what Mommy made. Do you want soup or do you want apple crisp? Apple crisp? Okay, look how good this looks. Oh my goodness, perfect. You fill your little bread bowls. I just toasted these in the oven. Spray it with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, and then toast it for 5-10 minutes. Make sure you're getting some broth right in there. How good does that look? And then I like to top mine with a little bit of cheese, shredded cheddar, extra sharp of course, a little bit of that bacon that we saved. You wanna help me put some bacon on? Yeah? No? You're waiting for the apple crisp, aren't you? Like that, and then a little bit of fresh chopped parsley. Oh my goodness, super tasty. All right, let's pull out the apple crisp. You ready? Ta-da! Apple crisp. All right, ooh, you can smell it, guys. It's so good. All right, let's dish it out. Now, don't take a bite right away because it's gonna be super hot. Wanna get some? All right, you ready to take a taste? All right, you get a bite, now I'll get a bite. Cheers. And cheers. Cheers. Mmm, like it. This is your favorite. Nothing better than this as an after-school snack, huh? Yummy. We'll have all these recipes on our Facebook page. It's www.facebook.com/scratchmadesimple. We'll have all of these, the apple crisp and the potato chowder and everything. Tell them how good it is. You say, you're gonna want this recipe. Okay, you're gonna want this recipe. All right.
Really much.
Really much. See you next time, guys. Go ahead.